A Republican proposal addressing student loan debt aims to make life much more difficult for those who do have student loans. Republican Senator Lamar Alexander from Tennessee is proposing making monumental changes to the way student loan debt is paid off. Currently, there are over a dozen ways that individuals can choose to pay off that loan. But under Senator Alexander's plan, that would be cut down to just two options, and both would involve garnishing wages or garnishing paychecks from employers. Under Alexander's proposal, there would be just two repayment routes, one in which borrowers' monthly bills are capped at 10% of their discretionary income, and another that spreads their payments out over a decade. Employers would be responsible for taking the funds from their employees' paychecks and sending them to the government. Well, we're talking about discretionary, like the discretionary income. This would be the income, or this would be the money that they would have left over from paying all their bills. Now, what I don't expect to be included in what would be a bill is gas, food, possibly daycare as well. So all of those amounts could amount, that can add up to a pretty hefty sum. So to me, what this proposal would do is it could potentially bankrupt a lot of people. And I think by extension too, it would actually decrease the amount of people that are actually looking to go to a higher education school, a college, a university. Because if they are viewing the situation for what it is, I get out of school, there are many people that when they get out of college, they do not get the job that they are looking for. They're not getting the job and the salary that they are looking for. So student debt, like this student debt is really crippling a lot of people in this country, millions of people in this country. So if they see the writing on the wall, once I get out of school, I'm going to be saddled with this debt and I'm only going to have two options of paying it back, which I suspect that it might not be possible. Why would they even entertain the option of going to school?
So the key here is what they will classify as a bill.
That is, yeah.
That's the key.
That is the key. Now, under this proposal, Senator Alexander did state that if an individual that does have student loan debt is not working, is not earning an income, they won't be responsible for making a payment at that time and it won't affect their credit rating. But just during that period of time that they are
so
not
they're treating student loan debt like child support, essentially.
Pretty much, man. By 2022, student loan debt is expected to rise all the way up to $2 trillion. This is not a serious proposal to me. If the proposal does not have something to do with making tuition free, if the proposal does not have something to do with loan forgiveness, then this is not a serious proposal to me whatsoever.
Or making tuition more affordable.
Yeah. It's not a serious... If we want to do something about the economy in this country, then we have to invest in students. Because students become workers, workers help this economy grow. Okay? So I hear all the time that, man, we have all this debt in this country. It's only rising. It rose to just incredible level under the last president, Obama. And with Trump, it's rising again, of course. So we can't continue to spend. We can't offer, free education. We can't invest in things because we just don't have the money for it. We don't want to leave our children with this debt. But the only way you actually come back from a situation like that is you invest, you spend money. You just have to spend money in the right places. And again, if you invest in our youth, if you invest in workers, they will return that tenfold. They will help grow the economy.
All you're doing is applying the same principles that they apply, or a lot of people apply to business, and you're applying it to education.
Right.
Because what's the common phrase? It takes money to make money. Basically, whatever you put into something, the consequence of that is supposed to be come out to a beneficial outcome, right? Whatever you put into something, the outcome is supposed to be beneficial, or how much you put in.
Right.
So I think it's like common sense to kind of suggest that putting more attention and putting more money and more resources into making education affordable at the end of the day will be beneficial for everyone.
Right.
You know what's kind of interesting about this and what it makes it why it makes, or I don't know, the things it makes harder. It's harder for people to do things, like financially. It's harder for them to kind of establish some sort of financial stability. It's hard for them to make plans for the future. And sometimes people kind of hold off on making plans because of their student loan debt.
Yeah.
Like people may, have plans to start a business or be entrepreneurs. They don't do that because they have student loan debt. A lot of people, I guess, don't want to buy a house because they have student loan debt. A lot of people don't want to start a family because they have student loan debt. That last one, to me, is the most interesting considering who's pushing this bill, because most conservatives and most Republicans are always talking about family stability, focus on the family, supporting the stability and the growth of families.
Growth. I was waiting for you to say that.
Do you see what I'm saying? So it's just kind of funny because this kind of thing actually stagnates the growth of families and actually makes people hold off on starting a family.
Right. So the approach is counterintuitive.
The approach is counterintuitive to like an agenda that they habitually push.